On the night of July 19th, I had a party. Just got back from football camp. I was going to the 12th grade. So I had a party. There was this lady over there, came to my party, named Tony. I knew her. Pretty much all the football players knew her. She was, she's a very free-spirited woman, let's say that. You smoke a little bit of weed with her, she would have sex with you. But even during that, and I had sex with her plenty of times. I was having sex with her since I was 17. And I knew that she was married. But, I'm 17. I used to brag. I was cocky. I was a football player. I was, and to be with an older woman, that was like, And, but I had a baby's mama, too. She was pregnant. She was roughly 3 months pregnant with my daughter. She didn't know nothing about Tony. And at this party, Tony showed up. Tony's kind of wild, drinking, smoking weed. She was very intoxicated, so I take her and put her in my room. Close the door, we're downstairs. And then my baby's mom showed up. So, she started talking to people telling her I had some woman in my bed and stuff. And she knew of Tony, but she never thought that I would be with her. And she was assuming things because she was in my bed and stuff like that. But everything was fine. I thought everything was good. I go upstairs. Tony's gone. My daughter's mother stated that she had some guys take her home. I never thought nothing twice about it. The party, because I went through the party and everything. Life went on. 3 days later, I was hanging out with some friends. 3 days later, my daughter's mom said the cops was looking for me. Prince William County Police. I go turn myself in. I find out, what's going on. So I'm sitting in the police, and it was like surprised that I came in. I was like, oh my God. I'm not thinking nothing, because I know I didn't do nothing. And they take me up in a little room, and then they started questioning me about this rape. And I told them I didn't rape nobody. I said, I don't know what you're talking about. And when they mentioned her name, Tony, I've been with Tony. But I said I didn't know her, because I knew if I said I knew her, then my daughter's mom know that I cheated on her and stuff. And I believe that if she found that out, she would have got rid of my daughter. So I act like I didn't know Tony, because I knew Tony was going to act like she didn't know me, because she was married. So they arrest me. They charge me with a rape. They charge me with abduction. They charge me with a possession of a firearm. They charge me with, I think it was a robbery, like $5 or something. And they charged me with abduction with intent to defile. But I'm not really taking this seriously, because I knew I didn't do nothing. So I'm sitting in jail. Then they charged 2 more other guys with it. I knew Ron Keys. He was another sports star, basketball player for Potomac High School, but he was already in college. I knew Anthony Fogel. I think he stayed my uncle. I only knew of him. And I'm like, I hung with Keys, but I never hung with Anthony Fogel. So when I get arraigned, this woman is saying that somebody came into her house and raped her and orally sodomized her, but she didn't know who it was. She didn't know if they was black. She didn't know if they was white. She didn't know if they was Spanish. So, so I'm like, shoot, I'm good. Everything's good because I know I didn't do it. So they take a DNA test. They run a DNA test. It was like the first time ever in Manassas. They run a DNA profile. It comes back 3 times inconclusive. But I know I've been with this woman. And the reason why I think it came back inconclusive because it's been a few days since I've been with her, And this was, now we're going on 6, 7 months. And all of a sudden, in January, they say they got a hit. And this was after the cops came and took blood from me and took saliva from me and took pubic hairs from me and my daughter's mom, she used to come and see me every week. Don't say nothing. We know you didn't do nothing. Just keep your mouth shut. Don't talk about the party. Don't worry, you're going to beat this. Everything's good. Then they found out Anthony Fogel, they gave him a plea deal. We let you go if you turn state evidence.
Who gave her a lift home? And you said that somebody took her home. Who gave her a lift home?
I don't know. But over the course of time, because people was telling me, you're, I don't want to say H, I don't want to say her name, told some guys to take her home. And it was like, I was hearing her from like gossip, but then it started making sense to me. Because at first when I was there at the party, when she was there, she was angry, upset, but then all of a sudden it was like,
good to go.
Yeah, everything was good to go. And that's when I went upstairs and found out that Tony was gone.
What was her ethnic nationality? She's black, white. What was her?
Who? Which one?
Tony.
Tony was white.
A white woman.
White woman, blonde hair, blue eyes, I believe. And
the county was predominantly black and white mix.
Yeah, the county. I mean, you got different sections where it's predominantly white, where the rich people live at, and you got little suburbs, townhouse areas where minorities live at, things of that nature.
This party had mix.
Yeah, this party was pretty much mixed. I went to a mixed school, so it was pretty much a mixture.
Okay.
A lot of jocks there because that's what it was. And but going back to finding out Anthony Fogel turned state evidence. But the reason why I know it was wrong and they knew it was wrong because when they had him on the stand and everything, he didn't even know the date. He didn't know nothing. You could tell that he was lying. And the prosecutor say, well, it's not important what he's saying because we have all this, but they didn't have no evidence. Everything was circumstantial, and other than the DNA, it was nothing. And I would never diminish a crime because I know it's serious. And I honestly believe if I was honest at the time, I wouldn't be here today. If I would have, I know Tony, we've been together a few times, and she was at my house, and this and that and this and that, everything would have been perfectly fine. But in my mind, I was protecting my daughter's mother. I believed in the system that I thought that would have my back. If you're innocent, you don't go to prison. If you're innocent, this ain't supposed to happen to you.
Why were you protecting your daughter's mom?
I loved her. I loved her. She was pregnant with my daughter. I was young. And it was. That's this.
Was she a black woman or white woman? Your daughter's mom.
My daughter's mom is mixed. She's Mexican and white.
Okay.
and a lot of it had to do with me wanting a family, me wanting to be loved, be cared for. You know, all my life I grew up needing and wanting to prove myself. All my life I grew up doing that, not necessarily for me, but doing it so that people will love me and people will care about me. You know, and it came back and bit me. It came back and, you know, hurt me. But let me get back to the story. So I go to court on my daughter's born, let's just say in February of 1990. I go to court on March the 12th. March the 13th, I have a public defender, and I'll put his name, Edward Sanders. So if anybody, you could look it up. Everything I say could be verified. And he pretty much put me out there to dry. He hung me out there to dry.
You got railroaded, you feel?
You didn't get representation like you should have.
Nowhere near it. He wouldn't let me say the things I wanted to say on the stand. His analogies was off. He didn't challenge their state witness. They're the guy that turned, you know, state witness against me. He didn't challenge him. He didn't railroad him or nothing. It was, like I said, and I was young. And you think that people in certain situations, people with certain job titles, would do their job sincerely, want to do the right thing, but it didn't happen. I got found. I was convicted. I was given a sentence of 3 consecutive life sentences in 2 years. Actually 27 years, and the judge suspended 25 of them years and gave me 3 life sentences in 2 years. And he said he sentenced me that way so that I would never get out again. So,
take me through the emotions of that day. What did you feel that day when you heard this judge sentence you? You looked at the whole picture and you're wondering, what have I gone and done?
I passed out. When I heard the first life sentence, I passed out. They had to take me out. They put me in a holding cell. Then my lawyer came through he talked lawyer through the window, and he said that, get yourself together because they're not finished. But even as they was reading me off my sentence, my lawyer, he was packing up his thing and leaving. And I knew something was up because within 2 years, the lawyer that I had became a prosecutor at the same place, Prince William County. And
what do you feel?
I just want. Oh, my life could have been so much different. My life could have been. I felt robbed. I partially robbed myself as well. If I was dishonest from the beginning, that's one of the reasons why I can't stand lies. I can't. It just irks me, and I know I would give my life before I break my word. I would give my life before I lie to somebody. Because I lost 30 years of my life. 30 years of my life. Basically, because I didn't tell the truth from the beginning, and my concept of this world was different. I was always needing and having and wanting to prove myself. And maybe it was because of the way I was raised.
And you said the love for your daughter's mom and protecting her had a lot to do with you accepting, well, not even accepting, because you never pleaded guilty, correct?
I never pleaded guilty. I fought it in the courts. I appealed it. But in Virginia, they got this new law. I mean, you only get one shot. And then I think it's called the Terrorist Act, and then that's it. And if you don't got money, you're done. And I know, I'm not the first one in Virginia. You could look at the cases, many people done 30-something years, 28 years, 29 years, and they found that they're innocent. But it's difficult. But I'm a better person. I'm a much better person. I've worked on myself hard. I got a strong support network. I lost a lot of people along the way.
Your parents out there, where were they in all of this?
Well, my mother passed away. She died in my arms when I was 17. She died from cancer, breast cancer. My father, he changed his whole life. He became a Christian, became a minister. He was always apologizing to me, but he passed away in 2006. So I got two younger brothers.
That's for your American parents.
From American parents. And, I mean, it's just tough. It was tough on all of us. And,
what was the environment like back in Virginia in the early 70s? Was it racially?
We was the only black family in my neighborhood. I remember the times that I used to have to, but it's overt. I mean, it's not overt. I used to be called nigger, boy, coon. I remember I used to had to run home, crying to my mom. I said, "Mom, they're calling me these names," and she used to tell me, if you act like it doesn't bother you, eventually it will stop. And I unconsciously taught myself how to deal with my problems that way. If I act like it didn't bother me, the pain will go away.
But they're trying to play the race card in this whole endeavor, because that's the first thing someone's going to say. This is the reality of your life.
Exactly. This is the reality of my life. I would never play the race card, and I grew up in a very highly charged racial environment. But I would never. I see people. I don't see colors.
Appreciate that.
But the truth of the matter is, I've been around it. I know how to deal with being called nigga. I know how to deal. But I never thought that it was spilled over in the court system. It was spilled over there. When I was 17. I was naive. I didn't grow up in the streets. I went to school. I played sports. I was in the Boy Scouts. I was, and I had a major reality check. And at first I didn't know how to deal with it. How do you
go on?
Yeah, how do you live with the prospect of living your entire life in prison? It's tough. It's tough. But I found a way. I found a way. God is good.
How hard was the prison?
No. I didn't live in the easy prisons. I lived in the tough prisons. And you have to man up. You know, you can't go in there and have stuff. You have to be a man. You have to find yourself quickly, because if you don't stand on your own, then you'll be standing for other people. And it was difficult because, like I said, I went into prison with low self-esteem. I was a follower. I was a follower, and I had to learn. I had to learn to stand up on my own. I had to learn to be a man. I had to learn to stand on my word. What I say, I mean, and it was tough, but you find a way. I'm a survivor. I was lucky. I had people who came into my life. I had a woman. I had a woman who believed in me. I had a woman who believed in me before I believed in myself. But she showed me how to believe in myself.
What came of your daughter and her mom throughout this whole process when you got sentenced and since then?
My daughter's mother eventually married another man within a year of my incarceration and took parental custody of my daughter from me. I mean, I had pictures. I had pictures of my daughter. Throughout the years, I got pictures of my daughter because my wife and other family members went on the internet and downloaded them and stuff like that. I haven't had yet the chance to talk with my daughter, which is another goal of mine. Once I get myself together, because I can't do nothing for her until I'm able to do things for myself. And that was pretty much it when it come to my daughter's mother. I'm not a judgmental person, but I know how she is. I know, she's really, I really can't think of the word right, formulate the word right now, but
Opportunist, you say?
Yeah, pretty much so.
You're not mad at her for that, because you were facing 3 life sentences, so exactly. She didn't ever think you would ever get out.
Exactly, and I believe that she was doing what she felt was best for my daughter, and I commend her on that. And my daughter, from the information I got, is a beautiful person, so she did a good job. She did a great job as a mother.
For sure.
And I don't hold no grudges against anybody. I mean, how can I live my life now if I did hold grudges? There's a saying I heard a long time ago. It's so easy to hate when people cut you and find joy in watching you bleed. But that kept me focused. That kept me not wanting to hate. That kept me not wanting to hold grudges. But it wasn't always like that. When I first was in the system, I was full of anger because I didn't know how to face my pain. As a man, I was never taught, to cry. I was never taught to, go ahead and feel your emotions, and eventually they go away. I avoided my emotions. I covered them up with anger. I covered up with overcompensation and other things in my life. And it hurt me in many situations because of that. But I learned how to do things differently. I learned to express myself. I learned to not be afraid to cry. I learned to, put my emotions out there. Everybody's going to have their opinion, and I could respect that.
Let's go back to the charges for those that are the naysayers. What were the charges you were convicted on?
I was charged with first-degree sexual assault. I was charged with forcible sodomy, oral sodomy, because I wanted to clear it up because a lot of people was misconceived on that. I was charged with
oral sodomy.
Oral sodomy. They said that I made her perform orally on me.
Okay.
I was charged with robbery of $5. They said that she had a change bag on her because she was an Avon lady, and she had a change bag on the table with over $5 worth of change on it, and they took it on the way out. I was charged with abduction. In the state of Virginia, if you stop somebody from going where they want to go, then that's abduction. It isn't necessary that you have to take somebody anywhere. It's just you stopping somebody of their own free will of going anywhere. And that was abduction with intent to defile.
You never pleaded guilty, but you were found guilty.
Yeah, I never pleaded guilty, but they came with me with plea bargains.
Did you take it?
Nope. I never took no plea bargain because I knew I was innocent, and I didn't know how can I plead guilty to something I didn't do. But obviously something must have happened because and maybe I don't know. I don't want to interject my opinion because I want this to be based on facts, everything based on facts, and everything that I said could be verified. That's why I mentioned names. That's why I mentioned the county of Prince William County. That's why, I was, for my first year, I was locked up in Manassas County Jail, going to trial. I went to trial March 13th and 14th of 1990. I was locked up on July 3 days after the alleged incident on July 23rd of 1989. And I didn't get sent down into the prison system until August 14th, which could be verified, of 1990.
Where does one find all these records?
And I didn't serve my complete time in Virginia. I was able to get transferred to Rhode Island, which I served 12 years on the same sentence, but they allowed me to transfer because they knew that I was working on myself hard. And because I knew that I wanted it to be the best possible version of me. And that's first starts with learning to love yourself. I had to relearn to love myself. I'm not saying that I'm an angel, because growing up, I smoked weed. I'm not really a drinker because, I was a jock. And I was conceited at times. I was big-headed. But I never hurt nobody physically.
You're not considered a violent person, are you?
I'm not a violent person, and I wish I had the paperwork because the Attorney General even wrote a letter for me stating I wasn't a violent person of Virginia. And
so how did you survive in jail if you're not a violent person?
You learn how to deal with people. In jail, most of the people that get hurt, and I'm not saying there's no victimization that happens in jail, because it do, and everybody gets tried or whatever. Everybody, they be honest with how you feel. Be honest, be straight up. Don't put yourself in certain positions. Don't borrow, don't gamble, don't. And that's how I was. I was open and I was honest with people. I was how I feel, who I am. And I'm not saying that I never got in incidents, because I did. And I protected myself. But it was tough. I was a young kid. I want
to ask you this question because American jails are a whole lot different from Bermuda jail. You was no one.
I had one incident where somebody tried, but
you handled it.
I handled it. I did what I had to do. But no, I wasn't no prison bitch. you know.
Real tour.
But like I said, life in prison is no holiday, especially the ones I've been in. You know, but you find a way. You have to believe. You have to believe in something greater than yourself. You know, to me, I don't think that man can change themselves on their own. They have to believe in something greater than themselves. And then you have to have a strong support group who you could be absolutely honest with everything, that who you are and what you want to be. You know, everybody who's close to me knows everything about me.
What did you learn from this whole ordeal before we go to the next chapter of your life? What did you learn from all of this? And what could you, that's your first question. What did you learn?
That nobody said that life has to be fair. Life don't owe us nothing. But it's up to us how we gonna live it. It's up to us how we could be positive, we could be negative. If we're gonna help people, we're gonna turn our backs on people. And regardless of anything, you know, that is ask people. Watch my actions. You will see who I am.
And if you had to do it all over again, what would you do different? If you had to live that one chapter of your life all over again, what would you do different?
I would be honest. I would be honest with everything that I knew. I would be honest with everything. I would bring in everybody who I thought was a part of it. I just be completely honest. And I think that would have changed out the whole outcome. I think that by me being honest, other people would have been honest. But because I denied the truth,
Opening the door to lies.
it allowed other people to deny the truth, because they knew that for me to be honest, a lot of things would have been exposed, and a lot of other, you know, marriages probably been broken up, and there would probably been hurt feelings and things of that nature. But we could have grown from them. We could have, you know, we would have survived that. But as a kid, I just didn't. I was scared. I was scared. I thought I was doing the right thing. I felt as if I was doing the right thing, and nobody told me anything differently. They just said, you know, we know you didn't do this. We know who you are. So to stand firm, you know, and the truth, and the truth will come out. But I didn't realize the truth needed to first start with me.
We're gonna